Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Door Bumper Clear. I'm Freddie Kraft, spotter for Bubba Wallace.
Tommy Baldwin, competition director, Rick Ware Racing.
Karsyn Elledge, Cars Tour, Partnerships and Marketing. And Thomas, I'm going to let you introduce our guest today.
Slugger Labbe.
How's it going, Tom?
What a build-up.
The myth.
I mean, seriously.
The legend.
Maybe I shouldn't have.
The guy that's seen it all. It's been around a very long time. Probably one of the first Northerners to move down. You moved down
1989.
1989. So he was
Karsyn, how old are you in 89?
Wasn't even thought of.
Yeah, so Slugger's been around a long time. Good friend of ours, one of my best friends. So we decided to have him on the show today for St. Patty's. Happy St. Patty's Day, Freddie. I see you're very well equipped.
Yeah. This is Christmas for me, so it's I had to get rid of the big hat. It was not going to work with the glasses, but with the headphones. But yeah, talk about that because I know you did an episode of DJD, and if anybody wants an in-depth listen to Slugger's background and what he's gone through in the sport, you can go listen to that. But just a quick one. Obviously, came from Maine. I know you got hooked up with the Houstons up at the Oxford 250, and somehow ended up down here.
Yeah, sure enough. So 1989, we ran the Oxford 250 in July, and then after the race, I just asked Scott Houston. I became friends with the Houstons because we ran some north-south combination events, and after the race, I asked Scott, I said, hey, man, I need to send something back to North Carolina. You got room in your transporter? And he goes, yeah, what is it? And I said, me. I said, I'm ready to move. I said, I just want to get out of Maine, and I want to take a chance on myself and just go racing where it's at, right? From the north to the south, and everybody watches Daytona and all those races, and I was just really a young kid, just eager to go make a move. And like I said, I believed in myself and my capabilities and talent, and so we ran the Oxford 250. I got home probably about 2 in the morning. I woke my parents up and said, hey, I'm leaving in the morning. They're like, where are you going? I said, I'm moving to North Carolina. Packed a suitcase and had $1,000 cash, and I think 6:30 the next morning we met, and away it went. And,
the start of Slugger.
Yeah. I said I had a couple beers with Andy at the Peppermill on Friday night, and I said, I need a good Slugger story. He's like, oh, man, I got so many. He said, but I'll just tell you the first one is, first race he goes to with us, we lapped the field. He said he was stuck with us for a while after that.
I thought it was easy, right? Yeah, it's like first race and dominated, and it was really, really cool. And that year we had a shot for winning the championship against Rob Moroso, and we finished second. But Houstons are a great family. Took me in, didn't know me, very little. They took me in, and I actually lived with them for 6 months, just because when we were driving to North Carolina, they're like, where are you going to live? And I'm like, I don't know. We'll figure it out when we get there. So, in the Houstons, they also took in Alan Gustafson a couple years after I left. So they
got a good track record.
Yeah, you hear the stories of how like the Horner Days and others, they take people in and put them on their couch, and the Houstons definitely took care of myself and Alan. So we're very grateful for them.
And now, when did you two idiots meet? I mean, did you know each other back in New England, or just did you meet down here?
No, I think the first time we really met was when you with the Houstons. I think it was in Martinsville. We got together for at the Dutch.
It wasn't
Inn.
at the Dutch.
Yeah, it might have been at the Dutch.
Yeah, right.
Allegedly.
Allegedly at the Dutch Inn. But that's when we first met, and we hit it off, and we've the rest is history with us. But the biggest question I always get, Slugger, and I where did Slugger come from? How did you get the nickname Slugger?
Yeah, so it's I didn't play baseball, didn't get many fights. So the day I was born.
Wait a minute, no, I mean,
swear
to find many fights.
Yeah, right. So the day I was born, my grandmother walked in and she gave me a pair of pajamas, and it had a little baseball on it. It said Little Slugger, and from that day, that was my name was Slugger. So like I went to Catholic schools when I was growing up, and the nuns would always say my name Richard, and I never would look because I was always Slugger. So they would beat my ass with a ruler and stuff because I wasn't acknowledging the nuns. So yeah, so I had a rough life.
Slugger's a golf trip veteran, right? I mean, I have not been on the golf trip with Slugger, I don't think yet, because
thank God
we've overlapped. We did steal Slugger's van one time to go though, and I'm sure he really appreciated it when we got back.
That's a story in itself, yeah.
Well,
the van I bought from Tommy.
Yeah, so Tommy had this van, like a Dodge.
Two of them.
Two Dodge. It was like brown Dodge.
Black.
Oh, that was black. I thought it was brown. I don't know. I was pretty drunk every time I got in it. But so Tommy had it forever. You got it from, I forget where you got it from.
So they originally Bill Davis, the team vans,
Yeah.
and when Bill went out of business and Marty Gaunt bought everything. He owned it. So I traded him 2 hard cards for the both vans when I was, back then TBR was called Totally Borrowed Racing back then when I first got started. So the only deals I could make were on paper, So I traded him 2 hard cards for the 2 vans, and I had my 2 team vans pretty quickly. And then when it was time to sell them, I sold. He says, "I got to have one. We got to keep it in the family. I'm gonna keep it." So
so Slugger ends up with one, and me, Doug, and Brandon McReynolds are gonna drive to Orlando where the golf trip's at, and we're like, "How the hell are we gonna get there?" And Doug's like, well, "Let's just see if we can drive the bus." And I'm like, "Oh, all right." So we called Slugger, and Slugger's like, "Yeah, I don't care. You weren't going. I think you were sick, or somebody was sick, or it was like it might have been COVID."
I went to the
year.
Hall of Fame thing.
Oh, that's what it was. And so we take this van down there, and we ran the toll lanes as far as you could run them. We were waving to the cameras as we went by. Then I think we came back. The windshield was broke. I mean, it was.
And you left it running in my driveway.
Oh yeah, well that was.
And the gas cap was missing, right?
Yep.
I wanted to make sure it was warm when you got back in it.
And you nailed it. Everything you did was expected, and that's what I got.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Apologies, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's the first apology he's gotten, and that was like 6 years ago, I think.
Hey, it's okay.
So Slugger's missed only one of the.
One or two, wasn't many.
I think 2, and it's the 2 I went to. So.
It's probably a good thing.
Yeah, thank God.
Well, how was Vegas for you guys?
Vegas was okay. Not good at the casino, not good at the racetrack. Dean had
And how was it
decent day.
okay?
Dean had a good day Saturday, so that was okay. It wasn't a total wash like last weekend when I didn't finish a race. But yeah, so it was okay for me. I don't know, it wasn't so good for you guys, I guess.
No, absolutely terrible. They did a good job executing. Got him back on the lead lap for the last stage though. So anything could happen then.
Yeah.
And struggled all weekend. Struggled through the bumps. Finally got a good change at the end. Got it driving pretty good. And had a tire go down, left rear tire go down, and got in the wall pretty hard.
Yeah, it's where same new week, same story for us. Super fast race car, banked some stage points, top 5 both stages, and then just wrong place, wrong time when everybody decided to run each other out of room on the back straightaway. We had a bunch of damage. Diffuser was killed. The left rear quarter panel was all folded up. So not ideal for us. Slugger, how was your day? I know you only had about 12 cars you had to watch.
Yeah, so in my role, I attend
What
a lot
is
of
your
races.
role now?
Yeah, so my role is for Toyota Racing Development. I'm engineering director, so for vehicle support. So basically, I communicate with all the teams. So if the teams need something from TRD, they kind of reach out to me, and I orchestrate that. So basically, just a point of contact for NASCAR as well. So I've got 34 teams this year that I'm kind of responsible for between NHRA, Truck Series, Drag Racing, Xfinity Series, and Cup Series. So definitely a lot of attendance at racetracks. So this year I'm only going to 7 drag races and 31 NASCAR events. So full slate of weekends. But it started off great with the truck race with Corey, winning the truck race on Friday night. That was a brand new truck that we built for him. And then Eric Amarillo finished second in the Xfinity race. And then yesterday was about everything that could happen, from pit stops to going wrong, wheels falling off, speeding on pit road, motors having issues, and then just crashes, right? And then the pit strategy at the end didn't work out in our favor. Our best car was 12th, and that was a weekend.
Yeah, for sure.
So we talked briefly yesterday about a couple things, and the thing that I wanted to be able for you to talk about was when you moved from NASCAR to NHRA and the thought process of those crew chiefs and the people that were involved, and then what type of information that you brought from our world to them. So I want to let you explain that to the listeners.
For sure. It was going into drag racing. I just got off a stint of being a crew chief for 20 years in the Cup Series, and I was burned out. I was melted down. And it was a breath of fresh air for me to go to a different series that I didn't know anything about, like zero, just other than what you see on TV. So basically just started paying attention, working with all the teams, some great crew chiefs and some great minds, and got some good schooling. And I quickly understood, Tom, that the crew chiefs, they really worry about clutches and engines. They worry about making 11,000 horsepower. They didn't really pay attention as much to aerodynamics, safety, chassis, tires, things like that we were familiar with, and of course engineering, right? They have their black book that they work out of, but they didn't have many tuning programs and things like that. So we tried to bring a lot of engineering tools that we had at TRD to the drag racing world to change the landscape, so to speak. And we definitely did that. We induced aerodynamics and made them understand how they can tune their car. For example, they used to run a bunch of rear wing on the back of their cars, and now they run virtually nothing, just taking lift over drag, right? So making them aware of that. Driver safety, a lot of things that we've seen through the NASCAR days, adversity, kind of brought that technology over to the drag racing series as well. But for me, it was a breath of fresh air just to go to 20 different tracks and meet hundreds of people that, I've been around all you guys all my life, right? And then you get to go meet a whole different crowd and go different places. So it was a breath of fresh air for me, and it kind of re-energized me because I was simply burned out of NASCAR racing at that time. So a great opportunity for me. The teams have been really receptive to me. At first, they didn't know what I was going to do, and then once we started working together, and my first year we won a championship with J.R. Todd, and it kind of solidified my worth in the paddock, and then it just kind of spread. So here we are from the end of 2017 today. We've won 4 championships and over 70 races. So very, very proud of my involvement in that sport along with TRD, and just happy to be a part of success.
They seem like very quiet gentlemen over there. They don't do anything crazy. Slugger sent me a video. What was it? A nitro-fueled blender?
Yeah, it was a margarita mixer. So it's a nitro engine with 3 5-gallon containers on the back. It's a margarita mixer, and it's absolutely insane. But I told Tom yesterday, the one thing that I like about NASCAR is they say the garage is opening at 8 a.m. and closes at 5. In drag racing, it never closes, right? So when the race is over in NASCAR, we haul ass to the airport, right? Get the truck loaded, get to the airport, get home. In drag racing, they don't leave till Monday, so it's a big party every Sunday night, or almost every night. So it's definitely a different crowd, kind of like the NASCAR 1990s that we lived in, 2000s, but definitely they're passionate about what they do, and they spend a lot of money. They blow up a lot of and it gets scary. When I first started, I used to be right at the start line, breathing all the fumes and the nitro, and now I'm 20 feet back because I've seen cars blow up when they hit the gas, and it's just too much to take in at times. But definitely Toyota's had a big involvement in NHRA, and it goes away at the end of this year. But it's been a hell of a ride for us, TRD and myself, so very fortunate to be a part of that.
Before we move on, there was one question that lit up Twitter last night that everybody wanted me to ask you, and I'm sure you might be able to guess what it is, but was that your notebook that flew off the car?
Seriously?
That's what I got 10 texts about it last night.
Yeah, so, Bristol is kind of crazy in itself, right? You're down in the hole, and it's loud. This is when they had hour practices. So during happy hour, we were in the middle of a thrash, and the notebook was left on the deck lid, and sure enough, every time we get ready to go to Bristol, my inbox fills up with people giving me a hard time, and hey, don't forget your notebook. But what was so funny about that? I mean, it sucked that it happened, and we saw all the papers going down the front stretch. But like a couple weeks later, people were like, "You ran a 2,000-pound spring in the right rear, or you had a pair of 500s in the front, and you had almost 400 pounds of lead in your car." It's like. How they, and then ended up. But I mean, mistakes happen, right? Nobody got hurt, but it was more embarrassing, and it's something that lives on every time we go to Bristol.
I told you, I put a tweet out last night. You were coming on, and there was literally almost all the replies were.
Yeah, I mean, it happens.
Thanks.
I mean, I wasn't the first, and I won't be the last. No. But now it's going to be a laptop, right? No one has notebooks no more. It's a laptop.
It'll cost somebody a lot more money.
Yeah. So good times.
Yeah, indeed. Obviously, both of you guys won Daytona 500s as crew chiefs. Which one of you was cheating worse when you won, you think? Or?
Tom, for sure.
I was going to say Tom.
He answered first, I think. You're not denying it. So
my shit was right that year. It was actually even better the year before, and we got taken out. We were pretty badass the year before. That's the one I think that got away. But the next year, she was in pretty good shape.
She was right.
That's what's neat about talking about being from the Northeast, right? So myself, Tom, and Bono, we're all really good buddies, right? And we still talk a lot, hang out together. And all three of us from the Northeast all won the Daytona 500, right? And people go in their careers for years, and drivers and crew chiefs don't win the Daytona 500. And here you got 3 misfits from the Northeast that actually won the Daytona 500. So it's really, really cool, and one of the special wins that no one can ever take away.
Yeah, for sure. I remember the one night, I forget what year it was, we finished second to Cindric. Tommy's on the roof, so and Tommy gave me my first job. He gave Doug Campbell his first job, Joey Campbell, Joey's brother, his first job. And here we come across the line of the 500, 3 wide for the win. And Tommy's running around like a maniac. He's happier than we are. I'm mad because I just lost the 500 by a bumper, but I'm like, Doug won. I can't be too mad.
Yeah, that was a good night for my boys, my kids.
All right, we ready for spot on? Spot
Well, I
off?
think we got to
any
talk a little
closing-
bit
okay,
about.
Hold on a
Vegas.
second.
Where the are you
Well, I
going?
don't
mean, you in a
know.
hurry today? I know
I
we got to
don't
get to the
know.
bar,
What
but
are you? God almighty.
Never mind. I'm just gonna shut the up and
no,
let you
don't-
guys go.
So she
Don't-
doesn't run the show, it sounds like.
well, she does.
She tries to.
tries.
Every
That's
now
what they
and
brought me here for, but they don't let me.
The one, I mean, we have to talk about Josh Berry before we get into spot on, spot off. I mean, for one, great hire by the Wood Brothers. That car is back kind of where it belongs, running up front. But just, a true fairy tale story for Josh. Whatever, meets Dale Jr. on line racing, and here he is, a Cup winner, direct relation to that. And they were fast all day yesterday. I mean, I know strategy played a little part of it, and we'll talk about that later. But it's not like he just lucked into a win. They were strong all day.
Yeah, I mean, once again, he had to drive from the back, towards the end of the race, just like Phoenix. I mean, they got their going on right now. I mean, they're executing well. I think they had a loose wheel. That's the reason why they had to come back in with a little over 100 laps to go or something like that. But he drove right through the field. I was up there with you guys this week. Pretty much all weekend during the race. Him and Blaney, those two cars could get through the field. Blaney as well, man. I just watched him 3 times pretty much get up to the 5th to 8th place from last 3 different occasions. It was just a show, man.
Yeah.
And look, when you got a car that can do it, the 21 was the same way, man. The car would just stick and platform and just drive. You can play with anybody. They try to block, but when you can use both lanes without having any issues, it's end game. And congrats to the Wood Brothers, great family, great people. Everyone's always rooting for the Wood Brothers. It doesn't matter who you are in the garage. You're always rooting for the Wood Brothers just because of the heritage and the 101 wins now. I mean, what's it? 3 organizations now.
Yeah.
That's over 100, right? So
It's 75 years in the sport. too,
yeah,
for the Wood
I mean,
Brothers.
basically started our sport, and that's why we're all here today. So. Incredible day for them, and I think there's going to be more to come.
I texted John this morning and I said, man, I think everybody in the garage is really happy to see you guys running well and winning races. Now knock it the off, please.
Yeah.
we don't need any more fast cars to race against.
Well, I mean, confidence is key, right? And now Josh has got the confidence, and you've seen him, in the short track ranks and your stuff in the Cars Tour, and once he got that first one, he was off and running, and I don't think it's going to be any different in the Cup now.
Yeah, Slug, I see you're wearing an old Priest hat. Old Priest had a good day yesterday.
Yeah, he did. It was the only hat I had at my house that didn't say Toyota on a TRD, so I think Priest
How
gave
come you
this to
weren't?
me.
You didn't want to wear it? You think you were going to?
You never know
Yeah.
what he's going to
Well,
say. I'm going to say.
what you guys are up to. So I was trying to be. I called in sick today.
Even
So.
yeah.
Do you think they'll find out?
It's okay. You'll be fine.
Yeah, so Priest is my neighbor, right? So we kind of watch out for him. There's a group chat that we all have, and we're actually getting ready for Daytona. We're going to have somebody stationed from the neighborhood at the Infield Care Center for Ryan, someone at Halifax. We're coming up
Just
with a
gonna-
plan. Someone to get a hold of Heather. So yeah, we know how he operates on speedway racing. So we really care about Ryan.
Yeah. Oh man, that kid, he cracks me up. But
He's
no,
doing
good day.
Great,
Yeah.
great day for him as well. I mean, he ran well all day and got a little bit in clean air there the last 60, 70 laps and held on. The boys had a really good pit stop there. That last pit stop they executed well.
8.6 seconds.
Yeah,
It's really good.
And then he was off and running, man. He drove his ass off.
Yeah, a good week for Suarez too. You
Yeah.
know, we've been talking about him on here. And he's had speed. He crashed at Coda running inside the top 10, I think it was. Last week he's inside the top 10. He gets caught up in that wreck with Karsyn Elledge, and then this week he gets a little same thing. Got a little track position early in that race, and then kind of held on to it and was in position. If the 21 wasn't so damn good yesterday, that's probably a 99 win. And that's what he's got to do to silence all that that's going on in the background with Zillage maybe in the wings, but. I thought he had a really good day yesterday.
Yeah, Ross Chastain, Trackhouse had a decent weekend. 88 struggled from the start of the race. He was back there with us, but those two guys, they put on.
Let me tell you something. Ross Chastain did not do anything wrong, but I was MFing him all day yesterday because he just knows, we had a big run to the top of him one time, and he just puts you in a position where you either lift or we're crashing, and you got to lift because you're obviously you don't want to wreck. So I know Bubba was quite angry with him one time, and I thought on that last restart, I thought Byron was in the catbird seat because I thought hit Larson and the 24 staying up front were two of the best cars all day, and then he got right to fourth, and I'm like, oh, he's going to get right here. And then Ross went to work, just kind of arrow blocking the out of him, and the other two got away, and then that was the end of that. That was the end of Byron's chances. But Ross is a MF to pass, and I don't, like I said, he's not doing anything wrong as long as you're willing to not be liked in the garage sometimes.
Yeah, him and the 99, they're pretty hard to pass.
Hey Karsyn,
All right,
you want to
permission to proceed?
Nice.
My bad, everyone.
What page are we on?
Yeah, I'm you this week. All right, spot on, spot off. Christopher Bell has a loose wheel when he left his pit stall, stops and Chase Briscoe's, and has his crew tighten it for him. Bell was penalized for pitting outside his pit stall. However, the move saved him from a potential 2-lap penalty. Spot on, spot off, Tommy.
Well, I think actually this needs to be a Slugger spot off, spot on, because you guys are always ahead of the thought process of what happens. And when I brought it up top, and I was like, and the 45 spotter, he turned to me and goes, yeah, that's legal. We already talked to NASCAR about that months ago. I'm like, but Slugger, you know the rules, right? We have rosters that we turn in for people, right? That have to do certain jobs on certain cars. Well, those guys aren't on that roster to touch that car. So how is that rule legal?
So I guess it's a gray area, right?
Is it spot off or spot on?
Well, I think it's spot on for knowing your tools, right? So the sport is so competitive, and you're looking for every little advantage. So basically, that move, understanding the rules, pretty much saved them a 2-week vacation for their tire changer and the jackman, right?
Yeah.
So just knowing the rules and what's going on around you. So it's definitely been talked about. It's not like it's how do you prevent it from happening, right? And then being prepared. So I think the teams will start looking at now, do we put a team like in the first 5 pit stalls knowing that that's their responsibility if something happens? I think it's going to bring awareness to the garage like anything else. But it is a gray area, Tommy, and it's just, what else are you going to do? It's a penalty. They might say now it might be a lap penalty or something like that, but just instead of the tail end longest line, there really wasn't no penalty for that. But definitely kudos to Adam. It scared the out of the 19 crew because they weren't pitting. They just did the wave around. They had their backs to it, right?
Yeah.
So it definitely it will bring awareness, and then it just makes you think, what's the next thing that's going to happen, right?
It's funny because, this has been a plan for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, this has been, we're going to do this if we ever have a loose wheel. And it just we've never really, first of all, you don't ever really catch it fast enough to know, like, you're already off pit road, you go, my wheel's loose. Like the 19 had a loose wheel. He didn't find out until he throttled up leaving pit road. So you don't ever catch it. So the fact that Adam caught it for one, and then was aware enough to get in the 19 box. I said to Chase last night on the plane, I said, what the hell are you thinking about when you're out there just riding around the racetrack and James is on the radio screaming, tighten the left front, tighten the left front. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about, tighten the left front? I'm just out here driving around. But so that was funny on the plane this night. But yeah, the rule is shout out to Bob Pockers for answering my text messages at 1:00 in the morning last night.
He never sleeps, by the way.
No. In the event of extenuating circumstances, e.g. prepping a backup car, team event roster members may work on a vehicle outside of their organization at the series managing director's discretion.
So that was their discretion.
That was their discretion.
So what happens to like the 47 team that doesn't have a second car?
Better find a friend.
Just again, that's a little bit of an uneven.
And I think, and to Slugger's point, I think you'll probably see a tougher rule or some kind of change coming this week to try to deter it. But it was, like I said, it's been planned for a long time, and it was cool. I didn't even realize it. I think we were wrecked or getting ready to. I don't remember. We weren't. And I was like, they said, did you see the 20 just pit in the 19 box? I said, oh yeah, I bet he had a loose wheel.
I was dying. And I yelled it out to everybody. And the what's his name? 45 Nick with a eating grin. Oh, we knew all about that. I'm like, oh my god.
I was surprised that Adam was able to talk, though, because usually the spotters talk you out of the box, run your lights, cars blending, and Stevie had just ended up talking, and then Adam was able to get through, and sure enough, he was trying to get to the inside. He was blocked by the 21, a couple other cars. But
yeah, and it saves their day. You're talking about a penalty, but the penalty, it's like you said in the thing here, it saves them a 2-lap penalty. It saves them a lap of damage driving around without a wheel on the left front. You know, that probably would have, the damage from just driving around the racetrack without a left front was probably going to end their chance of a win or a good run. So I mean, that's just a day saving move for them.
And suspension.
Yeah, and the suspensions for the pit group going forward. So yeah, just spot on, super high awareness on their part. Adam is probably right at the top of the guys in our sport right now, and.
Who's the crew chief of the 20?
It's still Adam.
Yeah, okay. Just making sure that everybody knows.
But it's so competitive. Like the tire changers, they're doing things in 8 seconds, right? And I bet you they have to stop and think when they're done with the stop, like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
It's so fast. And the tire carrier, if he misses the index, the wheel falls off. I mean, it's just so competitive on pit road. And if you're not in the 8-second bracket, you're having a bad day on pit road.
And I know we're on spot off, spot on, but a lot of loose wheels yesterday.
It's coming.
Okay, it's good. Let's. Okay, keep. I don't want.
Yeah, see?
Sorry.
Now that I know what page, what page we're on, you can chill.
Sorry.
All right, number 2, Kyle Larson and William Byron, arguably the 2 fastest cars in the field. Pit for fuel with 70 to go, giving up all of their track position, and were never able to fully recover. Spot on, spot off, Freddie.
I mean, spot off for them. One thing, like the way I wanted to approach this with you guys is, I mean, you guys have been around for 100 years. This has to be the closest this field has ever been, right? I mean, we looked. I was talking to you yesterday about it. We looked last year. If you qualified within 2/10 of the leader, you were third. If the year before you were 6th, the year before with the old car you were about 6th or 7th. Yesterday, if you were 2/10, or Friday if you were Saturday, whenever the hell we qualified, if you were 2/10 off the leader, you were 23rd.
Yep.
It's
like Martinsville times. It's unbelievable.
I mean, this has got to be the closest. Is it great?
I think so.
Yeah. So my problem is, like, if we're all going the same speed, which we didn't see a lot of it yesterday, but you know, when you voluntarily give up your track position because they came and put the fuel in with 70 to go, all these other guys that ended up, you know, winning the race, catching that caution late, you know. When we're all running the same speed, I mean, how does that factor into your decision making as a crew chief? Like, I know I have the best car. You know, Larson probably had the best car, I thought, all day. Does that factor into your decision making of, you know, I can't give up track position because everybody, even though we're the best car, it's only, you know, by a smaller margin than what it was in the past. I'm not gonna be able to blow right back to the field here.
Well, I think the pit stops have gotten so fast, right? So the teams are also thinking about, you know, if we have to put 2 cans of fuel in it, it's really slowing our stop down. So a lot of teams are basing everything they do off of putting 1 can of gas in. So I think a lot of strategy plays that way.
Yeah, to Slugger's point, I think they were waiting for another caution, which they got, but they were still so far behind they couldn't make it up. They would have had to put less fuel in, but the problem is the caution happened with, 20 to go?
Right.
Still, everyone could only needed to put 1 can, and so it was kind of even. So they didn't make any gain. The thing is, you know, that was right in our fuel window, right? And the biggest worry when that caution comes out about that time of the race is they're not worried about the checkered flag. They're worried about the green-white checkers, right? What happens, like Indy last year, and I think Nashville, you know, last year as well. Yeah, but man, that was. Giving up that track position, that was a pretty tough call. You know, I don't know if they were hoping they were going to drag the whole field down with them because they did every stop before that. They drug the whole field. There was a couple times I was like, some guys are going to stay out and, get some track position. And I think the 3 and the 71 on the end of the second stage or right before the third stage, whatever it was, they pitted and then they just drove around in the back half throttle for 12 laps. Got their track position first and second. 71 hung on for a little bit. 3 car didn't. But, yeah, that's the toughest call. That's one of the toughest calls as a crew chief is when you're right at your fuel window and you're leading the race and you're the one that has to make the decision because you can't say, well, come in if the 5 car comes in or come in if the 8 car does. But you have to make that decision and you have to pray that everybody follows you. And I think they based it off what was going on the rest of the race. They were all. Don't
worry about that. We'll get it.
Yeah. It's Doug. He's at the bar already. St. Patty's Day. Yeah, but you know, I think because of the history of the race, that how it was going, them dragging everybody in, they were hoping that they were going to do the same, and it just didn't happen.
And we're running low on tires, right? I mean, everyone was really, really low on tires. I think people ended up with scuffs on the wall for to end the race. So it was really you got to take everything into consideration. But definitely things got antsy.
In your guys' days, I mean, we just modified racing, and now all the way through the ranks. Did you prefer, like, I mean, I know you just love to have tires put on every time, but like I know you guys are both, enjoy the strategy side of it. Did you prefer calling a race where you had to be more strategic with your tires, or did you just want to be able to come put 4 on whenever the hell you wanted?
When I was changing tires, I loved it because I love to change tires. But when you're a crew chief, right, you definitely got to strategize it. But obviously, as the time goes on, the tire count is getting less and less and less to save money. So you definitely got to have that in your toolbox. And obviously, we all keep up with who puts tires on, who doesn't, and we know everyone's running count as the race goes on. But strategy's good. I mean, that's what we get paid to do. And the car, like you said, the cars are so equal on the racetrack. So what you do on pit road is imperative.
It's insane to me to watch, and that, especially now, right? This is the first mile and a half of the year. We'll see if it continues that way, if it's so tight. But you just lose a little bit of track. But the 2-car was up front, leading the race, having a great day. Had a couple bad pit stops. Ended up, 10th. Then I look back again. He's buried. Another bad pit stop. He's buried in the back, and then you don't see him again until they end up doing 2 at one of the pit cycles, and then they get some track position back, and then he kind of hung on up there. But like once you lose track position, for one, your balance changes so much. You get so much tighter the further back in the field you get. But then it's just like you said, everybody's going the same damn speed, and it's hard to pass.
Yeah. But there was a lot of passing going on.
I'm not. It wasn't a bad race. I mean, it was.
Yeah.
I
It
feel
was a
like
pretty good
It was a
race.
pretty good race yesterday up front. There was a lot of passes for the lead. I felt like yesterday, but it's just like once you get mired back there, it's hard to fight your way out of it.
Well, you look at Bell, right, when he had his tire issue and he was running second, right, getting ready to pass for the lead, has his pit stop issue, goes in the back, and his car was so bad they actually had to come down pit road and open the hood and make adjustments. It was that bad in dirty air.
Yeah. I think I felt the worst for Justin Haley yesterday. So he drove his ass off, and then when the car should come out, he'd probably be between 14th and 18th every time. But the 5-car lost a wheel at Coda. Well, they took their tire changes off Justin's car and put him on the 5-car for the 2 weeks. So he had replacement guys. He would come out last every single pit stop and have to start over. That was pretty tough because he was driving his ass off.
Did you see the video of him coming through that wreck?
Yeah.
On the back straightaway.
Hold on, Harry. It was like on Arca. What was it?
Arca break.
What was it, Blaney or Bubba, when we were talking about the Daytona, the guy that blew right through?
Oh yeah.
It was the 40. It was Justin Allgaier through the.
Yeah.
Cup race. Yeah. Oh, it wasn't even Arca.
There he goes, right to the middle. Oh man, the 43 cars there. As he's wrecking, he had a pretty good day. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, didn't have a good day as he's wrecking here, but he had speed. I thought he had the most speed he's had.
Did you see the moment he had 1 and 2?
Yeah, it was right in front of us.
Holy man, what a save! And he kept digging.
He was trying to get down. I think we had a little run on him, and he tried to come down and I wasn't really to block us, but just kind of dirty our air up. And I think it just over the bumps, he hit him a little bit wrong and took off up the hill.
There goes your favorite, Tommy.
There goes Rick.
47.
He's okay.
How about you see Jimmy Hart? The mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart running around the garage yesterday.
Yeah.
He was with the 47 because they had Hulk Hogan's beer on there. But yeah, he looked like the same exact guy that I've seen wrestling in the 80s. I don't understand how hasn't changed at all.
All right, Tommy, you've been waiting on this one. According to NASCAR Insights, there were 5 loose wheels, 2 that fell off, 9 speeding penalties, a pitting outside the box penalty, and multiple run-ins, including Hocevar turning Gibbs around. Worst day for pit road ever. Spot on, spot off.
Yeah, I mean, spot on. But Slugger, you guys do a lot of internal talks about this stuff. So what do you think? Why do you think it's happening more and more as we go? What is your guys' theory when you get in a room and you guys try to work on all this?
Well, on the racetrack, you gain hundreds, right? And on pit road, you can gain tenths and seconds. And that's where it's at nowadays is managing your time, your pit road speed. Like if they allow you 50 miles an hour, you want to be 49.9, not 49.5. If you're 49.5, you're losing time on pit road. So understanding all the aspects from pit in to pit out is very, very important. It comes down to people. It comes down to details. It comes down to pit selection. It comes down to paying attention, right? So it's very, very important, but it's so competitive. Like I said earlier, when the tire changers get done, they're thinking to themselves, what the hell just happened? And they got to go back and watch the film that they wear on their head with a camera. So it's so competitive, and it's only going to get worse because the rules are so constricted. You talked about all the cars being within hundreds of each other in qualifying, and now it comes down to what you do on pit road and strategy. Sometimes, like Tom talked about earlier, you got to get off strategy to make things happen, and it's so critical. And we got so many people sitting in the war room, like Tom does at times, trying to help the teams to make the right decisions. Because when you're sitting on the pit box, you get all the noise and you get everything around you going on. But when you have 20 engineers back at the shop helping you make decisions, it's so competitive.
But you never even answered the question.
I'd never do with you, Tom.
I know.
Just talks.
Yeah. But why do you think, what's going on? You just think the pressure is they just have to be so fast now, and are you guys doing different stuff with regulating the air so that the next stop, the lug is like, what is going on? Because we're seeing a lot of wear on our rotor hats, the brake rotor hats where the wheels, there's so much more wear going on this year than last year. And we're trying to figure it out. We know it's kind of because the wheels are not tight enough even when they're tight. So what do you guys like?
Well, keep in mind, it's aluminum on aluminum, right?
Right.
When you bolt them together. So two hot surfaces will have some friction there for sure. But, a lot of the rules, the pit guns are dictated, the air guns are dictated, the nitrogen you have to use, the size of the bottle you have to use, and it comes down to people and what they do and how long they stay engaged on it. So that's a tough one to answer, Tom, really, because it's like I said, it's so competitive that they're just – when they go to hit the lug nut, they're already thinking about getting up, So like their brain is one step ahead, and one little misstep, and you pay the price. But I mean, if you look what happened to the 19, if you look at the back of the wheel, they simply missed the index, and the guy thought he got the lug nut tight, and it probably caught it by one thread, and it came off, leaving pit road. So. Again, these guys don't know what happens till it's actually over when they can stop and digest it. So I know I didn't really answer your question again, but it's just really it's a tough one to answer, Tom, because it's so competitive.
I just think there is more pressure on pit crews right now than ever before, ever.
Well, they're the highest paid people in the garage other than drivers and crew chiefs, right? I mean, they're so competitive, and they all have contracts, right? Where mechanics don't have contracts, every pit crew member over the wall has a contract just because the team invested in them. And you saw what JGR did with the Jackman this year in 2311, right? They changed one move for the Jackman. He picked up one step, and it was 0.3 of a second. That is a big number on pit road, and that's what it comes down to.
Now everybody's doing it.
It doesn't take long, right?
It takes 2 weeks, right?
Yeah. And listen, like and to your point, it's you can't even put into words how important. Like our pit crew has been unbelievable this year, and you come in fourth, go out first. And instead, that's not only is it obviously good, you're happy you gained 3 spots. But your car is going to drive 10 times better than if you went from 4th to 6th, or even if you just stayed 4th. And that just keeps you there. If you can come off pit road in the first 2 rows, you're going to stay up there. Once you fade to that row 3, 4, 5, whatever. Now you're in really dirty air on these restarts. You can get put in bad positions, and that's what happened. We ended up cycling back a little bit the one time, and then here we are, top of 4, trying to get back to the front, and we end up getting wrecked. And it's just you cannot emphasize enough how important it is. Just the pit crews right now are everything for a lot of us
in every series too. It's trickled down to every series. You're seeing cup teams pit trucks. Whoever thought of that, right? And it's so competitive. Corey Heim come in 4th, went out first, and won the race. It comes down to details on pit road.
All right, grade these drivers' performance throughout the first 5 races of the season. How do you want to go about this, since we kind of have a list of them?
Simplest. I just go, read one off, and we'll go. We can go fairly quickly on it. We don't have to spend a lot of time on each.
Starting off with the home team, Tyler Reddick.
Home team, Reddick. I think I would give him a higher grade than he would give himself. Because last night I told him, I said, "Man, you did a really good job today," and he's like, "Yeah, well, I got nothing for it," and that's just But I think he's had a great year. I'd give him somewhere a bit of a B. He's up there in points still. He's having a solid year. Just kind of the same as us. Has speed and can't find the finishes that he deserves. So hopefully he can turn it around.
Chase Elliott.
Is everybody else going to give Tyler
a
grade?
I don't know. Sorry, there I go again, jumping the gun.
No, I thought you were doing a good job there. Right?
Well, did you want to give? I didn't know if you wanted to talk about Reddick at all.
No, you said we don't have enough time. Now all of a
sudden
you want
us all enough time.
Yes, you said we don't have much time to do this.
I said we don't have to take a lot of time.
Okay, so then you said one on each one.
I'm just saying we don't need to do a 10-minute.
He argues with everybody. Don't.
No, I know this.
Let's talk about Chase Elliott.
Go ahead, Tom. You go ahead, Tom.
We got to speed this up.
I'll get another beer while you're over here.
You're good.
I want one now too.
You want one, Karsyn?
Do you only have?
I only have Bud Light.
No thanks.
All right. Well, Chase Elliott, I don't want to talk about Tyler Reddick. Done talking about
What do you
that.
got? What's wrong
See,
with
I
Tyler
knew
Reddick?
that.
Nothing.
I knew that. That's why I went ahead and moved on to Chase Elliott.
Tyler Reddick.
Slugger, you want to talk about Tyler Reddick? He drives a Toyota.
Well,
He's a
no.
good guy.
Yeah, you got.
I will tell you that Tyler puts in the work. He's on the simulator a lot at TRD. Every Wednesday he's there for like 7 or 8 hours, and he does work at the shop. I mean, he's really, really dedicated. But I understand his frustration of not having nothing to show for it. But if you go back to Homestead last year, the pit cycle thing actually won him the race. So, I mean, it's got highs and lows. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Chase Elliott, Tom, you're up.
Normal Chase Elliott doing Chase Elliott things, right? Consistent, not getting in trouble. Gonna
Stepped
capitalize.
on pit road yesterday.
Yeah, but again, he's going to end up capitalizing on one of these races when it's time. I mean, that's just what Chase does, man. That's how that team seems to work, right?
The whole Hendrick camp.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think the 5 is probably the most aggressive of every week of doing, being aggressive on the track, doing everything. But, Byron does the same thing. He just takes what he can get. I think Chase is probably a little bit less aggressive even than William, right? And but at the end of the day, you look and there he is, top 10, right?
Well, there's 2 races here. He's wrecked on the first lap and come back and had great finish, and all 4 Hendrick drivers are in the top 6 in points. So that they definitely, if it's not their day, they know how to capitalize.
Mm-hmm.
Who's next?
Wait,
Are
you're
you
not going
ready?
to talk about Chase?
No, I'm not. Fuck
Oh,
you.
you don't want to talk
Yeah,
about
you don't
Chase?
want to talk about
Fuck
Chase?
you and Chase. I mean, God,
Yeah.
I mean, jeez.
Joey Logano.
Go ahead, talk
Who
about
you,
Joe.
me? Logano's Logano always. I mean, I feel like he's always like.
Lucky.
Yes, like not lucky yesterday. What happened on his last pit stop? Because I wasn't really. We were in the back trying to flounder around, so I was trying to make sure we got wave rounds and stuff. And I saw he came in leading, right, and went out. I don't even know when it's like in the
I missed
20s
it.
somewhere.
We were loading up our junk in the trailer, so I missed that part. But
I listened. The teardown said he might have slid through the box or slid too close to the wall. Is that what happened?
He slid through the box and
Yeah.
went through all that. So he was mad at himself.
Yeah,
But
tough deal for him. But I mean, they were fast. They got caught. They were one of the ones that got caught with that early caution when they pit and somebody's wheel came off. The 19, I think that was 19's wheel. So they got the wave around, but they had a couple lap older tires and everybody, so they kind of faded that run, and then they just had a hum day after that. But then I thought, well, here he is again, like just gonna catch the strategy right and win this damn race.
yeah, but he drove through those guys to take the lead.
Oh, yeah, no, it wasn't bad,
like
no.
that wasn't handed to him when he got the lead. And it was like, okay, here they are with 25 to go. Caution comes out, doing their thing, and I mean, he's just as hard to pass as the 99 and the 1, right?
Yeah,
so
he's probably the hardest.
yeah. So I think he was in the catbird seat for sure.
For his season, he's 8th in points right now. I'd say something things about a B or a C
Yeah.
for him.
Oh yeah, we didn't give Chase Elliott an actual
Oh,
letter grade, but
that
we'll
B.
just
Because they
pretend
were
like
fighting.
that. They were, yeah, B for beef. All right, Kyle Larson, Tommy.
I already talked about
Exactly.
that.
So
Yeah.
expand.
I mean, just
give him a grade.
But his grade's
Yeah.
got to be a little lower because you would think.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is a show, Alex. We're never doing a list like this ever again.
well, it's
Yeah,
fun.
well,
That's
yeah,
good.
well-
We're fighting with each other.
yeah. Did you even watch the race yesterday?
I had food poisoning yesterday, so
Oh,
I was
my
in
God.
and out. I was
You have
in
to
and
do
out.
this every week.
Food
Yeah,
poisoning.
With these two
don't you
clowns.
feel bad for me?
100%,
Don't you
girl.
feel bad for me?
You need a raise.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Mike. If you're listening,
You guys get paid?
Yeah.
yeah, they pay us to hang out with you.
Yeah, but Larson's great. I think it's got to be down a bit because he just, he hasn't been Kyle Larson in my opinion. I mean, he was yesterday for about 3/4 of the race and then gets stuck in traffic. So I mean, he just can't. I mean, I would same thing. It's probably in that BC range. He's sitting there. He's probably been one of the fastest cars, but he's still 6th in points now. So and 3rd on his own team in the standings. So
Denny Hamlin. I'm upset with
that
Denny.
guy's great.
I'm
Boy,
upset
he's
with
the
Denny.
best.
He was my pick this week. It
Denny was
severely let me down.
He's great. That guy's amazing. A+.
Yeah.
A plus. A plus for the boss man for Freddie.
Why?
What,
Oh,
what do you think?
I mean,
What are you, stupid?
He used all his luck up at the slot machine.
No kidding. That's
Right.
ridiculous.
I'm going to check my bonus check next week, make sure that's something in there
I
reflects
want to know
it.
how much was spent to hit that, though.
but again,
Not enough. Trust me.
During the race, you would think he was a 25th place car most of the race. Then all of a sudden, you look up, there he is battling for top 3. It's like, where did he come from? I mean, the guy just doesn't wear his stuff out, waits to the end to go, and there he is. And he had an unfortunate. They pitted on. They had to pit on the green, right?
Well, they pit on that. They did pit under green at one point, lost a lap, got back from that, got a lucky dog or a wave around, and then he pit with that strategy where they tried to split that last run in half and just got burned by the yellow. So that was I mean, looking at it, I'm sure you were, involved, not involved in the call, but just involved in looking at the strategy side of it. Them guys are pitting, just trying to make up enough ground on green flags, on fresher rubber to cycle back if it stays green, right? I mean, even if the guy stayed out, you're going to make up ground all that whole run there. So I mean, it was just
that's all you could hope for.
Yeah, it was pretty risky, but it was, and obviously it got burned. So, but it was. Look, they were hauling ass. I'll tell you that. When they were coming back through.
Yeah.
You give them a good grade, Freddie, but they need to win.
Oh, I only give them a good grade.
They haven't won in almost a year.
Yeah,
I'm not knocking them. They know it. But, I mean, at the end of the day, you're only as good as your last race, and you have to win.
Yeah, I only gave him an A+ because he signs my checks. His season's about a D right now. He's down. He's 12th in points. He's gonna have to. We're gonna figure something out.
So it's A+ or D?
It's A+ always.
Oh.
But just he cut that part out where I said D, just because.
No.
I don't want him to get upset with me.
So you give him a dat.
I'm gonna, yeah, duh.
Yeah. All right, Ryan Blaney. Tommy.
Bathtub, where they at?
Yeah.
The bathtub
I'm sure.
I wonder how many
God
reaction
almighty.
theater calls we have about that.
I mean, the
week.
car is just so fast every week, and
It'll come.
it'll come. I mean, once he gets all this stuff out of the system, they're going to win some races, man. The car is badass, and the show yesterday was him going through the field, just watching him. Everyone was trying to block him,
Yeah.
but he could just play with everybody.
There was one time he caught us, and the same thing. You're like, you can kind of defend a little bit, and you're not really defending as hard as you in the middle of the race, But you're just like, some guys can get to places, some guys can't. And he just rolled up next to us and drove on by, and I was like, well, our car won't do that.
Yeah,
It's like,
it was. That thing was spot on.
He was one of the first cars that ran through the bottom of 1 and 2 through the bumps. Like, the bumps weren't there for him.
Yeah.
And then he would smoke the bottom in turn 1 and 2 and then run the wall in 3 and 4.
Yeah.
He was the first one to figure that out, and he was half second quicker than most people. He definitely figured it out first.
Yeah.
Josh Berry.
Did we give him a grade?
Oh wait, no, I guess not.
who? Blaney?
Blaney.
It's got to be middle of the road right now, just because they haven't gotten luck. But I mean, if you're giving him a grade on speed, he's an A.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
exactly.
it's just you're
Adversity.
yeah. Just gotta get what you deserve eventually.
All right, Josh Berry. What do we think?
You? How about you?
How about you? You want to give
Yeah.
Josh Cars Tour champion? We'll let you go on Josh Berry.
Well, I mean, if we're going, I feel like off this year, I would say a B+.
A B+.
B+,
What
A-
the
minus.
hell
I just
more do you
won
want for this
yesterday.
guy?
Because up until the last two, it was. Up
I
until
mean, he
the
finished
last two,
top
it was
5.
mediocre.
He was leading Atlanta. He was. What? Come on.
Damn it, Carson.
We give
I'm
you
done.
one
Josh
shot.
Berry
We
fan
give you
club
one
is going to be
shot.
all over us now. John Wood's going to be calling the show, MFing us because you gave him a B+.
Hand me the phone. I'll answer it.
So B+.
B+.
B+
is what we're
for
going
me.
with.
Okay.
I'm really waiting for her to get up and walk out. Like, at any
I'm
time.
there. I'm about there.
We can tell we got her on. She's
Once
on.
she starts throwing MFers and swinging at Tommy, it's when it gets exciting.
It'll probably be you first.
to me,
honestly.
I don't know. I'm a
she's-
saint. This last one will be fun.
Ty Gibbs. Go on.
Struggle, man. Struggle bus.
I mean, and like a lot of I was talking on here last week, it was a struggle bus, and I felt like the first few races this year really wasn't all on him. Like it's he got damaged here, got caught up in a wreck here, whatever it was, and a lot of it was not of his own doing. Yesterday they were just off. I don't know.
Crew chief change.
A new crew chief.
Okay.
Gale went. He had Gale. Gale's Denny's guy now. He's got Tyler Allen, who came up from the Xfinity Series. Awesome guy. Really good crew chief. In my opinion. But just I don't know what's missing over there. But I looked up one time and he was a good ways off the back of the pack, just struggling. It didn't look like there. I mean, there was no damage or it was just. I don't really know what's going on over there, but something's got a switch has got to get flipped here at some point because they're digging themselves a hole that they're just never going to get out of right now.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, right now you look, he's 34th in points. He's got 56 points on the year. I mean, that's pretty bad.
Rough.
Yeah.
Should be a fun competition meeting.
what's
today.
the grade?
That's
so what's the
an
grade?
F. I mean,
F.
that's
Yeah,
got to be.
I agree. I agree.
I mean, internally, obviously, you're not going to divulge all the information, but I mean, and it's not a company-wide issue. A lot of times you see like, all right, we're all struggling, or we're all looking for speed. The other guy, Bell's won 3 races in a row. Like we said yesterday, Denny was fast. He's top 5, and then you just this outlier here. It's just it's hard to fathom. I mean,
Well, it's a new crew chief, like you mentioned, right? And he has new engineers, but at the end of the day, you got all the tools, all the resources. You got Open Notebooks to 2311, the other teammates at JGR. It's just a matter of putting it all together and finding out what Ty needs. But definitely, today will be a tough competition meeting.
Yeah, and you talk about Open Notebooks. One thing I did want to touch on with you is the relationship between Legacy and the obviously 2311 and JGR work very closely together. Where does Legacy fit in that group?
Definitely getting closer. Yeah. You know, the aerodynamic side of it is really, really close. We spend a lot of time together on all that. I think they're not in the doors of JGR or 2311, so to speak, but they're definitely working on those relationships, and that takes time, right? You just can't come in and expect everyone to give you everything, but I know Toyota's goal is to have everybody to be on one page, and I think in time that will happen, but right now it's definitely everybody has their lane that they operate in, and Legacy is their lane is getting wider, but it's going to take a little bit of time.
Yeah, we had a great John Hunter. I think I would give John Hunter a solid B so far.
Yeah, 15th in points, I think.
Yeah, not getting in any wrecks, and he's been there at the end. That organization has stepped up for sure.
They had a good winter hiring people, engineers, and team members. Definitely, they're paying attention to the aero side of it as well, which is, as you know, Tommy, is very, very important. Aero is everything, and they're definitely making big gains. Yeah.
I've never seen a more fitting video than Travis Mack dressed up like a Backstreet Boy singing songs.
Goodness.
I mean, that's if anybody's going to fit the Backstreet Boy mold, it's probably old Trav there. So.
Yeah, I seen a quick. I shut it right off.
Same.
I didn't even watch it. I was like, poor guy. If they forced him, I'm thinking if someone asked me to do that, no.
I think you're safe.
I was going to say
that was out at 2 a.m.
That was at what's the bar at the golf trip?
Oh yeah.
When
we're doing karaoke.
Karaoke or karaoke? Which one is
Yeah, well, depends on what time of the night.
What's your karaoke song, Tommy? What's your go-to?
American Pie.
All right.
Jesus. I've seen him dancing by himself before in Dover, Delaware, just on the dance floor by himself. Like
I was getting it.
He said he was dancing by himself in the kitchen drinking wine last week.
He's got issues.
Tommy we're in Dover one night, and Tommy's out. We're all in the casino, and I'm like, we're supposed to meet up, and I'm like, where is he at? And he's like, I'm at this other bar. And he comes out. He was dancing somewhere.
I was full of sweat.
Sweating at the top. I'm like, what were you doing? He's like, man, I was just in there by myself dancing my ass off. Like,
sometimes I have fun all by myself.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
He's like, you should have heard the band, and it was all. I'm like, okay, we'll be over here if you need.
I think it was.
It was that.
It was me and Mr. Truax Martinstad.
Oh.
We got together for an afternoon cocktail in the center thing, and somehow we ended up in the seafood place.
The seafood place,
which
yeah.
ends up in
it turns
a disco
into a
at
nightclub
11
or
o'clock.
disco, yeah. A disco.
Next thing you know, yeah, we had a fun night that night.
He was always good. You would always run it. Rest in peace, old Big Martin. But you'd always run into him in a couple bars in that casino on Dover weekend, and that guy, he knew how to have fun.
He called it that was his home track.
Yeah,
the casino was his home track. So.
All right, last one. In a recent LA Times article, Dave Allen said while building a half-mile oval where Fontana used to be is the number one option, we still need some time to sort some things out and figure out if that's the right thing to do. Spot on, spot off, Freddie.
Spot off. I just don't think this is ever going to happen. I'm sure there's a list of reasons why. It just doesn't seem logistically like it's in the cards. I think that we'll end up back out there, but I think it's going to be something in San Diego with a street course or something for the Clash or something like that. I don't ever see people that live out there they say they drive by and the buildings are already got the place surrounded and there's probably just going to continue to close in on it. I think the land's just so valuable out there for those big huge whatever Amazon or whoever else is building these massive buildings that I just don't ever see it happening.
It's a damn shame because that place was badass, man.
Fontana was like my favorite racetrack to spot, and I was like, even when they just decided to tear the 2 mile down, I was already crushed, and now it's a cool little area, and Dale, I know Dale always says this on his show, like we need some kind of short track on the West Coast. We bring road courses out there. We had the 2 mile oval, but like the fans, they need that that badass short track experience. So it would be nice if it did happen, but I just don't see it happening in the cards.
Unfortunate.
All right, you guys ready to
Anything got you fired up?
Oh,
except for us this week?
No, nothing other than y'all. Nothing, well, especially you.
Is that so?
That's it.
That's not very nice. I
What
thought we were friends.
You know, we forgot to talk about your nephew last week.
My nephew.
Was it your nephew?
her brother.
My
Your brother.
Wyatt?
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Your brother, yeah. Yeah.
You have a nephew?
Yeah.
No, I thought about that after we got done recording last week.
Yeah.
That he ran the limited at Hickory. Ran second.
He did.
He did a good little job.
He almost brought the Intimidator out. The little whatever that piece of the Intimidator that's
Oh
in
my
there.
God.
I was like, oh no, don't wreck this guy in your first race.
So that was his
I know.
first. That was his first.
That was his first
Stock
limited
car,
race.
right.
Yeah.
And how cool is that at Hickory? Though?
I know. And we've all raced there.
Right? I mean, to be honest with you, I was 14 years old. That was the first time I ever worked in the pit area. The modifieds came down from up north. We raced, Hickory. I think it was one of the first races of the year. And you had to be 16 or over up north to get in the pits. 18, I think, in New Jersey. And that's Hickory, believe it or not, was where I got the real bug of going, this is pretty cool.
Yeah. And they've been making a lot of upgrades and stuff too.
Sure.
I mean, they've done a repaved pit road, new bathrooms. God bless. But I mean, yeah, it was cool to know that Dale, Mom, me one time, Wyatt did a lot better in his first limited start there than I did for sure. But no, it was cool. And like you said, we were like, don't wreck him. Mom and I were like white knuckle gripping each other's arms those last couple laps, screaming, don't wreck him.
All I could picture was I'm like, he's gonna boot this guy out of the way.
Then LW is going to be fighting.
LW is going to be in a fist fight in Victory Lane.
Mom and I are going to be in a fight in the grandstands. It was going to be a brawl.
And the whole world would be loving it.
It was just
Be selling T-shirts.
The thriller.
I was beefing on Facebook with people too. But
No.
We'll save that for another time. All right, y'all ready for reaction theater? Apparently, we've got some good ones this week.
You know what this is?
No.
So it's fans call in and leave us voicemails throughout the weekend. So it's
Unfiltered?
Unfiltered. Well, I mean, no, they're filtered because we get about how many calls we get this week, Alex?
About 150.
150 calls, and we got seven calls we picked from.
Okay.
Some of them cannot. Some of them have to be filtered.
Hey, it's Dale Jr. And for the latest DBC gear, we need you to go to shop.dirtymomedia.com. We've got plenty of options, and we're adding new stuff all the time. Shop.dirtymomedia.com.
Hello, Tommy.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Tommy Baldwin. It's Pumpkin. How you doing, pal? Great job on the show so far. For those of you that don't know me, this is Pumpkinhead. I run the mancation, or the golf trip, as the boys like to call it. I get to listen to this Freddie Kraft story all the time, and he leaves one part out. I was supposed to spot at the bus stop for Dave Blaney, but my wife just had a baby, and I had to stay home, and I got Freddie the gig. Baldwin didn't even want him. He said, isn't that Kraft's kid? Kraft's kind of shady. And Karsyn, thank God for you keeping those guys in line. Have a great show, gang.
Pumpkinhead. Good old Pumpkinhead, our good buddy.
Old Pumpkin. Yeah. I spotted one race, I don't know what year that was. It was for Fellows in the bus stop. For Pumpkin couldn't go, so I did that race, and then I don't know, it was a couple years later I started doing the full-time deal. But that race with Fellows, I never heard somebody curse more times in my life. I thought I cursed a lot. He made me sound like a saint. I forget what the hell happened. I think Casey Mears was spotting on the front stretch. I can't even remember.
Yeah, we had a conglomerate of
it was God.
He's a good dude.
Oh God. Old Pumpkinhead.
Oh, Goshberry. That's what happens when you make it to the top on talent and hard work instead of daddy's money and your last name. Ain't that right, Mr. Baldwin? Hey, Karsyn. I saw Bill Belichick with his girlfriend. I'm not too old for you. Hit me up in them DMs, girl.
So now it's changed. You were DMing the fans last week.
Wow.
And now they
Now
want
they're
you
trying to
to
DM
get
me.
in there.
Yeah,
Just for the record, I did not.
I don't believe you. I'm sure.
It's funny that everyone's like daddy's money and the kids are spoiled and stuff. I mean, I keep telling everybody, hang out with me for a week. You work as hard as I do.
Yeah. Oh, listen. I'll be the first to admit your kids are not spoiled.
Yeah.
No.
They're punk. So I have to send them money. That's how unspoiled they are.
What happened last week?
It was. I forget where the hell we were. No, this was. I'm talking about
The other day, last week, didn't he text you guys?
He texted me asking for money, but I didn't give him to him this time. Well, where the hell? Where'd you go? Punta Cana?
Yeah.
Punta Cana. Jack's like, hey, send me money. I'm gambling. I need gambling money. So I'm like, how you doing? He's like, I'm down 800. Oh no, I'm up 1,000 or something. I said, so why the hell you need my money? Oh, I just figured if I told you I lost everything, you wouldn't send it to me. So I said, how you doing? He's like, I'm down a bunch. I'm like, well, now I'm not going to send it to you because you lost.
Yeah, but you send it
so
to him.
me and Dougie sent it to him. Me and Dougie sent him some money, and guess what happened? He lost. All
That
of
happens.
it. So then he texted the other day. He's like, he said something about going back. He's like, you need me to gamble for you again in Punta Cana or whatever? I guess, is he going on vacation or something?
They went on spring break. Yeah.
So he
Beth was the only chaperone.
Beth was the chaperone
of 15 boys for spring break.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
I said, no, we're going to Vegas. We can lose all our own money on ourselves. We don't need your help this
Yeah.
week.
At the mancation, his kids were asking everybody for money. They actually came home with more money than everybody else.
Yeah,
That's the way
that's
they
how
roll.
they do it. They
Yeah.
don't spend it. They just take it and don't spend it. They're Baldwins. What do you expect?
Totally borrowed racing.
Yeah, this is the chip, number 19, all the way out from Nebraska. I was just wondering if I could submit a boyfriend application for Karsyn. Go Longhorn Nation. Woo!
Go what?
Froghorn Nation.
Froghorn. Hey, we're gonna hook you up in
God
this
bless.
show. Good luck. We got you. We got
You're
you
right.
taken
You're
care
getting
of.
some hitters.
You want these guys to start texting?
I
in
mean, you
pictures?
wanted this.
Well,
You
yeah.
asked for
Look,
this.
if this is gonna happen, I'm gonna at least need some portfolios, something.
So
OnlyFans. something.
the Alex, we just need them to once they call in with these messages, they have to text the photo to the. You can text the hotline, by the way. We don't ever
I need a photo and 2 references.
do references.
Jeez.
Me and
And a
Tommy,
bank statement.
Me
And a bank. Yeah, there you go. There we go.
Me and Tommy will be your references. Whoever it is needs help. We'll be happy. You lie, we'll swear to it.
Jeez.
Situationships fail sometimes, but you can give them another try. And as a doubt that fills my mind, I somehow find Karsyn and I collide. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do.
Wow.
Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do.
Turn this off.
It's the
Oh my
first time
God.
I've ever seen her face red.
I was gonna say I got a son yesterday.
That-
Your face
Oh my
red. than mine.
God. It's the first time I've ever had a song sang to me. I'll say that.
Oh, see that?
She actually, yeah, look at her. She's a little
God.
hot and bothered
Yeah,
here.
a
It's
little
just funny.
A little excited. All right, 16 more calls about Karsyn. Let's go.
Mother, can't keep no damn wheels on the deck. I was on good track to get me some ass tonight, but Kyle Busch's crew went and didn't put the plug on right, and now I'm gonna be lucky I get to touch tip.
So what do you think the bet was with that? How do you think that was?
I think it was just, he gets to celebrate if Kyle won, which Kyle is another one. If super fast, as we talked about with what, Bell's saving grace getting in that 19 box, Busch comes in, he speeds on, leading the race, speeds on pit road, goes to the back, kind of gets stuck back there, and it just snowballs from there, and he gets this damage. Now he's in the garage because he drove around with the wheel off and it ruined his day. I mean, but just, just can't, it's so, keep harping on this. The field is so close, you cannot make any mistakes.
Details matter.
Yeah, Josh Berry for the win. That made my mud so much smoother to go down in the toilet at this hotel and flush. Hey, it didn't choke like them chase sexuals.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Last one.
Yeah, and also, I don't know what the is going on with Ty Gibbs. I don't know if this mother is playing the long game and waiting for everybody to just fall out of NASCAR, or if he just sucks. But if this mother get out the back row, something's got to change.
Was that you, Freddie?
That was not me. That was not me. But I think a lot of people were probably thinking something similar to that. It's yesterday was inexcusable for me. I don't know. It's just like you said. There's gonna be a lot of hard conversations over there this week because there's stuff you can point to the other weeks of why your day got ruined. But yesterday it was just not good.
I mean, the problem is you're one adjustment away from picking up 2-3 tenths, right, Slugger?
Yeah.
I mean, it's that close of the arrow balance and the mechanical grip of in these cars that if you're off a little bit and they're making small mistakes on entering their information to the simulation, you don't have a chance the whole weekend because it starts at the shop, right? If that car does not unload well and in the ballpark, you're done, man.
For sure. If your tire model's incorrect and your aero map's incorrect, you're in trouble. And like you said, Tom, it used to be we used to worry about 16ths and eighths, and now we're worried about 10,000ths. And it's that critical. Every move you make has a downhill effect, and it's so important that the details are all met. And it's only going to get worse. I mean, I don't see rule changes coming. I see Goodyear making some different tires. Like we're testing tomorrow at Charlotte. We have a Goodyear tire test tomorrow, Wednesday, and a test coming up in Michigan. They're trying to make racing better. It's not aerodynamic packages. We've been through all that, and it just makes you wonder what's going to move the needle in our sport. And got to give Goodyear credit. I mean, when the tires fall off like this weekend at Homestead, it's going to be a great race, right?
What about you got any information on the tire test from last week from Phoenix?
Yeah, so they're looking at a soft tire for sure. It's probably only going to be one tire. You won't have an option tire at Phoenix, and it's probably going to be similar to what they had at Martinsville. Had a lot of fall off, a lot of rubber buildup. Definitely, they're not sure yet. We have 2 more short track tests coming up. It's going to be at Gateway, and we have one at New Hampshire coming up, and then they're talking about going back to North Wilkesboro after the All-Star race. So Goodyear is definitely a key part of fixing the short track issues that we have, and you got to give them credit because it's not cheap to go test. Goodyear, they take a lot of heat, but at the end of the day, like I said, when we get to Homestead and places like Richmond that we race at where the tires fall off a lot, it's one hell of a race. And go back to last year at Homestead, it was probably one of the best races we've seen in a while.
Yeah, tire wear, no grip on the track always makes good racing. The one biggest thing I learned over the weekend, I asked a lot of questions about the tire and the softness of the tire based off our conversations here last week's show. NASCAR with all their equipment and stuff back in Ohio, they're at their limit of their production of Goodyear of the softest tire they can make. The next step is them overhauling. They say they have to go towards the drag tire type material and stuff, and they don't have the machines and they don't have the stuff ready for it to build a cup style tire like that. So I know they're going to try probably different stuff to make that tire change a little bit, sidewall stiffness, construction difference. But right now they're stuck at their softest tire they can possibly make, which is the Martinsville tire, right?
Sure.
So they tested that at Phoenix last week, and it was a plus.
Yes.
So,
but they want to try something different, right?
Yeah.
And the thing people don't realize is that soft tire, like Tommy was saying, they've never really gone that soft. And when they build that tire, the reject rate is really high. So 30 to 40% of every tire they make of that soft tire they have to throw away because it wasn't manufactured properly. So that's a big expense, and they're trying to change their processes to eliminate that reject rate. But man, I'll tell you, being a Goodyear engineer is a tough job in the garage because when things go right, everything's fine. But when things don't go good, you're in trouble.
No.
All right. To leave an audio message 24/7, call our number 704-802-9572, and we'll play the best ones each week on the show. All right. It's time for Ask DBC, and you can send in your questions on X each week using hashtag AskDBC. Martha would like to know, with all this talk about driver approval processes, should NASCAR go back to having multiple practice sessions each week and drop the narrative of we're saving the team's money?
These crew chiefs at the table would probably like to have 12 hours of practice back or a day to work on things, testing.
I would say one thing, you asphalt people in your practice, like coming from USAC and dirt stuff and working for the car store, I was like, what the hell are we doing having 5 hours of practice on Friday and then 3 more on Saturday? I mean, in my
you guys have
perspective,
way too much practice.
It's crazy.
Way too much.
What's ideal for you guys, Slugger?
Well, you got to keep in mind, you talk about expense, it is, right? And then we talked about Goodyear producing tires. So if you have an extended practice of 50 minutes, it's another set of tires. So that's 40 sets of tires for the paddock, right? So it's just a matter of cubic dollars. And I think the TV wants to do it. It's just a matter of if they can pull that off. But I think the owners and the engine builders are probably the ones that are standing on the table the loudest, because engines are restricted, how many miles you put on them. And sometimes we run engines 3 races, which was unheard of back in the day, but you got to keep running these engines.
Not my day.
Well, yeah.
I started all that process.
I should just look at you and not him.
TBR was running them quite a bit.
Oh yeah, I proved to everybody that you could do it.
But in the Cup Series, if we talked about hitting your tools properly, right? If all your models are correct, you really don't need practice. I mean, you hit it, and you should know what you have within 20 minutes of practice. But if you don't hit it, it's tough to change a spring and a shock, the things that we all grew up doing. You don't have that luxury no more. So it's all what your computer tells you once you get to the racetrack, and that's the biggest thing is getting that. But 9 times out of 10, the teams get it really, really close. I mean, back in the day, we never went out and made a 40-lap run on a Friday afternoon at Pocono, right? But now that's what we do because everything is so close, and you try to hit it within 10, 20 thousandths of an inch. And computer technology is where it's at. Engineering is through the roof right now. And spotters. You got to have spotters. I don't want
let's be honest.
You know, he made an interesting point. The teams have it figured out, but with the rookie drivers or the young drivers come in, and I think we need a little bit more
for them,
more testing for them. I mean, and look, we don't all want Hendrick to go to a racetrack and with a rookie and go test, because we also know Hendrick or Joe Gibbs, they're gaining valuable information on all of us, right? So it's a tough thing for NASCAR to try to figure out, because testing it becomes an advantage for the team, you know. But it's a good thing for young rookie drivers. But in NASCAR's opinion is, well, you're supposed to get all that experience through all the ranks moving up, but the smaller ranks don't have the same testing, right? Yeah. You know, we're fighting hard with Luke and to do some stuff, you know, in the rookie type stuff to get him some testing, preparing him for some stuff. And, you know, I hope it works, because I think NASCAR probably will change some things based off what we're doing with Luke, I hope, from the sounds of it. So it's
Baldwin rule.
No. I think they just realized that they got to do something different. We didn't ask for it. We didn't, you know, I think that, you know, something in the truck series. Look, the unfortunate part in the truck series, you have a lot of manufacturing support there as well. So the teams that are going to go, again, are going to get an advantage. But if you're going with just rookies, how much of an advantage are you really getting? Well, you still get an advantage, right? You get all your heights figured out. You get everything to match the simulation. You get stuff to match the sim room, right? So there's a lot of things. So NASCAR is always in a bind with all this, because they don't. Who are they pleasing? What's the next people they have to please? And the problem is, next up is who they have to please. The next people that are complaining, right? So, you know, they're in a tough position of trying to get these people. We're going to need. There's another group of drivers getting ready to come up, right? There always is, right? You know, they always take the older ones out and the newer ones come in, and well, it's getting ready to happen again. You have a lot of young drivers in the Toyota development. You know, Gio is doing well already, and you know, I know you guys did a massive Miami test with you know, because was a rookie and he went and tested 20 sets of tires and ran a lot of laps, and
342 laps in one day.
Yeah. Wow. So, but we'll see how the whole team does collectively this weekend because of that test. So NASCAR is always in a bind, man. And I told them yesterday, I wouldn't want to be them, because they got 3 types of people, four with the fans, right, coming at them at all times.
Yeah, and my only concern with more practice is we already talk about how tight the field is and how close everybody is, and if you give us more practice, we're just going to make that box even smaller. I feel like everybody's going to make their stuff better, and then now that everybody's gotten their stuff better, it's just, you know, we saw this for a while. I felt like in Martinsville, I felt like we went to Martinsville like twice a year to test for a while, and then we got to Martinsville and everybody was within a half a tenth of each other, and you're like, well, damn, now we're never going to pass each other because we're all running the same speed, you know. Yeah. So, and it was just from that point we all went there and ran hundreds of laps as an organization. You know, one car from every organization goes back and shares all the notes, and it's like, damn, now we're all the same. You know, it's just that's the biggest thing is you need variations of speed and to off throttle time to have good racing. Well, if we're all the same speed, then we can't pass each other. Yeah. So it's that's my only concern with going back to, you know, I don't think we're ever going to go back to the day of, you know, 3 hour and a half.
No, I don't think any of us want that. No, but I just want to make a point. yeah, we're not at the track testing the teams, but we're spending just as much money, and Slugger knows this, at the shop, not testing or not practicing through all the simulation tools and hiring employees and doing stuff. It's not costing the teams any less.
No.
Okay? It's not. We think it is because we're not seeing a tire bill or a fuel bill or a hotel bill. But at the end of the day, there's probably 2-3 more employees that need to be hired every year, right? That's $400,000 or $500,000. There's another $500,000 put in the tools to get better, right? Every year, probably more, right? There's more tools to buy. I mean, I bet you a team like Joe Gibbs probably spends $2 million a year in upgrades, easily, right? Well, if you tested 10 times, what's cheaper, right? But now you need those tools. It's over, right? We're way past the on-track stuff. Yeah. We're more in the.
I mean, Brad had said the same thing. Basically, he said, we don't save money. We just allocate it.
Like different areas.
If you save us a little bit here, if you save us $1 million here, we're just going to go spend $1 million more over here somewhere. So, like you said, you're never really going to save them any money. You might save them a little bit over here, but eventually they're just going to spend it somewhere else.
Fair. All right, you guys got any Show Hall of Fame nominees this week? I think. Karsyn Elledge edged out Austin Hill.
Can you say
show?
I don't know if you can say that.
That's what it's written on the.
I know it is.
My bad.
Just saying.
I told you not to expect that much out of me today. Okay.
I think Tim's about to set you up for failure.
I think these calls got a little flustered.
You guys, this has been a horrible show for me. I've been eating a lot.
No, it's been great.
You did nothing wrong. I was hoping you read it exactly as it's written there because Tim set you up there. I think a little bit.
She's like Ron Burgundy. She will read what I put.
Yeah, this sheet is the Bible to me today because
there's
nothing happening in my brain.
Page 1.
So Karsyn Elledge won last week.
won the Show Hall of Fame poll last week over Austin Hill.
It wasn't really her.
I know.
Like it was more. Like we said last week, it was more NASCAR. I thought I put that more on NASCAR than her. She should not have been in that race and they put her in a bad spot. But this week, anyway. Mine has to go. I don't even want to know if I want to give him a show, but because I was actually really proud of him, and if there wasn't any cameras around, he would have done a great job. The mechanic on the 88 truck. Did you see this?
I heard about
it. He's standing up pit road. Here it is. You can watch the replay here. He's standing on pit road, and as soon as the two officials, he's staring at the officials. There are two officials right there walking by the left front. As soon as they walk by, boop, in there, pulls a packer out. We're done. Pretty quick. He does a good job. And then
back to
washing the windshield. And then
that's the old New York shuffle right there, baby.
We've never done it.
No, I know you guys have only heard about like that happening.
Allegedly.
But
that guy's good.
So, and you can see, the funniest part is he just watches those officials.
That's like the old guy washing the windshields in the city there.
Yeah. Makes it 10 times dirtier than it was before he started.
Look at him still cleaning.
So I mean, I'm proud of that one, but we still got to give it to him because
that ain't a show.
Unfortunately for him, it's
that's awesome.
Slick.
Unfortunately for him, there was cameras. So
they're always watching.
This day and age, there's always cameras.
Allegedly, what did they find the Packer? What did they do?
I think you're just thinking that he did that.
Oh yeah, maybe he was cleaning something.
Well, whatever he did, that's illegal under red either way. So, what do you got, Tom? Anything show wise?
The best was the F1.
The start.
The start in the rain. The guy on the warm up lap. The guy's wrecking. The one guy wrecking. It was unbelievable. I was sitting there. I was going, what is happening here?
Yeah.
What is it? I don't even know his name. I can't even. Isaac.
I can't pronounce it.
There's no way you can say it.
Yeah.
That's not a
You should give it a try, though.
He's not from Long Island. So.
He could be with that name, but I still can't. say it.
He's from Bellport.
Yeah. Yeah, but that was a show right there. The start of that.
Even the end. I looked up and you can't we're at a bar, so you can't hear anything. And I look up and
wait, Shocker. You were where?
Yeah, right. I know you're. I was a sports book. There happened to be a bar there, but I was in the sports book.
Happened to be.
And all of a sudden, everybody's spinning out. Very late in the race. I don't even inside 10 to go, and I'm like, "What the hell is going on?"
No, this happened on the warm up lap.
I know, but it happened again at the end.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, "What's going on here? Why is everybody wrecked?" So that one.
I'm going with the tow truck.
The guy flipping
me too.
This guy.
I mean, how does that happen? Is he okay?
I assume he's okay.
Again, can
is
you
he
direct the fans to go see this because they have no idea
Flow
what
racing.
Why can't we show this? This isn't NASCAR. Why couldn't we show this?
I don't know. Flo would probably be
Flo
upset
would
with
probably
us.
have the same issue
I think
Fox would.
I think Flo would like something like this on our show. We need to ask him.
Maybe Flo might be a little bit more lenient than the other folks.
Maybe we can do some more short track modified stuff.
Well, there's a lot of short track
They'll be pumped about that.
Well, I bet he'll get NASCAR to
Well, what the hell was he doing?
I don't know.
I think he
Like,
got
how does
clipped.
that-
I think he got clipped by that car that was pulling in.
I thought he was going around that car. Yeah, he
he got clipped. He got clipped off the right front.
I think he drove over the right
I
front.
think that's what happened.
Yeah, look at his wheel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oops. So he not only flipped, but he wrecked that guy too.
Well, anyway, you can go to Flow, right? At
Yeah.
Port Royal Speedway.
I'm sure they shared it socially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a show
That's
now.
a show.
So there's no way that doesn't win.
Those are our 3 good ones. I mean, the guy's okay, right? Do we know? Does he get out of this thing?
Is he all right?
He's all right.
Okay, good.
Crafton's guy gets an A. That's not even a
No,
show.
He gets a grade.
What was that
That's
now?
a-
Why-
Whoa,
what was that?
That was Friday.
That was Cedar Lake.
Is that
a few years ago?
Oh, a few years ago.
Okay.
I'm
No way. I was like, no wait.
Why,
Why
do
was
we
your
have,
toe?
why was there a Friday movie clip over there? What is
Friday.
that? Scroll up.
Down the other way.
Yeah, well, oh,
ADHD.
damn.
Jesus.
How'd that go? Where that'll be getting clipped for something.
Oh, yeah. We
I
need
need
to
that
use
just
that.
to respond to
That
text
picture,
messages.
somebody sent me that picture. I can't remember who sent me that picture of you and that little girl making the same face.
It was in.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was funny.
I think those are 3 solid.
That's a good one.
Three
Yeah.
solid nominees.
Crafton's guy.
Overall, our weekend was pretty smooth, all 3 divisions.
Yeah, there wasn't.
Good
We
racing.
talked about it yesterday.
Yeah.
There wasn't really a lot of.
Yeah.
Wasn't a
Nothing
lot of
crazy.
topics. To
No
talk about.
turmoil.
No.
Nobody
no
messing up.
drama.
I will say we could probably give an honorable mention to Tyler Ankram's brat interview. That
Oh,
he did.
somebody
about
sent
that.
it to me. I didn't see it, but I know it didn't go well. Like he was.
Just
I heard he
blaming
blamed everybody
but
else.
The engineer, the pit. I mean, everything but.
His tachometer, pit road speed limiter, was improperly, I guess, adjusted, set, and he lost his mind after the race. And I was thinking, you know how much this guy has wrecked,
Yeah.
right? And the team hasn't yelled at him, right? But they set the tack wrong, and he melts down after the race. It was bad.
Yeah, it was embarrassing for him.
I always wanted, I always want a driver. I'm sorry, I always want the pit crew. The driver, pit crew guys are usually the ones that catch a lot of the brunt of it. They have bad pit stop, and the guy goes, you are all fired, whatever. And I just always wanted one time to be driver jumps a start or speeds on pit road, and the pit crew guy, one of the pit crew guys, please just key up and go, you stupid son of a you us here, now we're done.
Well, Tom and I used to do that as crew chiefs.
Oh,
Yeah.
trust me, I know. I told this story before, but Kelly Kent, Herm's girlfriend, was in the suite one day, and she's at Martinsville. They got that little scorers room up there. Tommy's sitting there, and I was spotting for Tommy, and she's like, Freddie, thank God Tommy doesn't say on the radio what he's saying out loud. And I'm like, no, Kelly, that's all on the radio. He's screaming at me, he's screaming at Michael, he's screaming at Bono. Especially I had both of them. I had Bono was the crew chief and he was the owner. And he's on the roof with me, just yelling nonstop. Bono's up there yelling at me to yell at him. I was like, this is a full blown disaster.
That was a show.
That was a show.
I
you
might have
felt
went
like
off.
how. Go ahead.
I was going to say one time at RCR, I might have went off during a race, and then the next Monday they brought me in the office. They opened up a computer, hit play, they closed the door and walked out, and it was a replay of me
Just you.
melting down, and you don't realize it till you hear yourself, and you're like, what an ass,
Yeah.
But that's how you learn.
Sometimes it's warranted.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Never-
do you ever
never
listen
for me.
back and think you're an asshole?
All the time.
His wife tells him, don't
He
worry.
doesn't, say he
yeah.
doesn't think he knows.
Good.
Yeah.
Beth keeps you
Shout out,
honest.
by the way, to this dirt modified race. Dylan Stoyer
Yeah.
won the big show. So
He beat Shepard, right? Matt
yep,
Shepard.
Long Island kid, Chuck Stoyer's guy I spotted for back in the day.
Who haven't you spotted for?
Just about everybody at Riverhead.
Gets
I think. Yeah, I mean, hey, whoever pays.
Well, remember to go vote on our Shitshow Hall of Fame Twitter poll who you want to see be inducted this week. And DBC Picks, for the first time, our guest won last week. Kevin Hamlin.
God, I
Hamlin
with
gets the
Bowman.
guest on the board.
I said that was insider trading. They planned that.
So Slugger, you got to get in part. You're part of this. The
Yep.
guest has to pick. We just pick who we think's going to win.
Okay.
But you got a list of drivers here. You got to pick from. So
Read,
just go to
Slugger.
the last page. It should be. There you go. So you're the guest drivers. The ones that are highlighted, you can't pick.
Well, shit, I can put my glasses on. Can't
Oh God!
See?
The two of you. The two of you. I can't take either one of you
See?
anywhere. You want me to hold it for you way over here too?
how old
so
are you, Freddie?
42. It's
Oh,
happening.
you got like 8 years.
Yeah,
You're
I know
fine.
it's starting to happen though already. Who goes first? Tommy.
God, I suck.
Tommy, you're
first.
averaging a 26.
It's like us in
26,
points. It's like Rick Ware racing in points right now. Jesus.
You did get a third somewhere, but other than that, you've been 26th or worse for a while.
Where are we racing?
And third still wasn't good enough to win that
We're
week.
going all, yeah.
I'm going with Hamlin.
Damn it.
Hamlin.
Oh, do I get next?
You get, yep, Karsyn.
Kyle Larson.
It's good pick.
Man,
I'll take
I
How about I pick Ty Gibbs this week? That was a good pick.
pick Priest. Someone needs to pick Priest. I think that's
I think
one of
Priest
his
is
best
going to have a good
drafts.
day. I'm going to take
should've-
old Tyler Reddick.
Okay.
Slug.
I am going to take Noah.
Noah Gregson.
Noah runs.
Yeah,
Noah
runs good
runs
there.
really
That's
good.
a good one.
Yeah, that is a good pick. Sneaky good. And you're doing a favor for the other guys.
Yeah,
You're not
the other
using-
guys,
You're
yeah.
not using
I'm
one
a
of the
team
big
player, dude.
Yeah. Who's ever the next guest star?
Who's leading?
Well, me and Karsyn are tied. The guest have me and Karsyn have 2 each. Tommy's got
I ain't
0.
got-
Goose egg, big goose egg. Yeah, but
And one for the
so
guest.
did one for the good one for
I
the
mean, I
good
finished
guys.
third one race and still lost.
I feel like we'll have a good. This week might be a good tiebreaker for us.
Man, I love going to this place too. This is
Yeah.
like one of my favorite racetracks. I mean, you guys have been going there forever. You've probably seen a couple different variations of this racetrack
Yeah,
too.
yeah, the original. That was actually pretty cool back in the day too.
You think the date will ever change? Will we go back there for the last race?
I think so.
I hope so.
I think that starting, I'm assuming next year. I hope next year, but probably definitely by 27 you'll have a different championship race. I'm still praying to God we get a 3-race playoff, but I don't
Right.
think that's ever going to happen. But at Homestead will definitely. I think it's going to be a rotation, and I think Homestead will definitely be part of it.
Your 3 race. What's your thought process? That all 4 guys?
4 guys, 3 races. Just so it's just
Points.
not points, just straight up like points like we have. You stage points. You give everything, but I just.
So
obviously-
do we start 13 races into the year?
I think you could
how's that
do. I
work?
think you could do less drivers and maybe 9 races. So or you can go 12 races, but I think 9-race playoff. Start with 12 guys instead of 16, and you just cut 4 out after 3, and 4 after 3, and then you have your 4 guys left for the last 4 races or 3 races, whatever it is. But it's just. I hate a single race champion, so I just want some kind of variation to it. But
Makes sense.
I mean, really, the only other sport that does that is NFL, right?
Yeah.
One game,
yeah.
one champ, right? Everybody else has
7.
4 out of 7.
And listen,
right?
listen. It makes for the best TV when you have one race. You kind of guarantee yourself the Game 7 moment, but. It's just for me. I don't know. I just hate crowning a season-long champion based off of one race. I'm already hating this year because we're gonna have Talladega in the final to decide the final 4. You know what I mean? So now you've got a crapshoot race that's gonna pick potentially pick one of your championship 4, and it's just I don't know. It seems like a while. It seems like a I don't mind that. I don't mind the race being in the playoffs, but to decide the final 4, and it's whatever the 3rd to last race or something like that. Yeah. Like it's just I don't know. I don't love it, but nobody gives a shit, I think so. Except
What
for
about
Karsyn.
you?
What about me? About what?
Exactly. All right.
Karsyn, we going racing this week? What are we doing?
No, we still got one more weekend. Well, Wyatt races this weekend again at Hickory, and then we run Wake County March 29th with late model stock. So I'm looking forward to that. It's always a good time there. Good little bull ring.
The Clowns going racing this week?
Yeah, actually, we go to Thompson tomorrow, do some testing. Luke's going to drive Ryan Priest's car and the 7NY tomorrow during testing tomorrow afternoon. And then we come back, we run King of the Modified, South Boston, Friday and Saturday. A lot of guys from up north coming, so it's going to be a good show.
Slugger, where are you at this weekend?
So we got drag racing in Phoenix, and I'll be in Homestead as well.
Oh, doing
Triple
both.
header.
So Slugger, you're I don't know if it's unfortunately for you, but you're back in the Cup Garage pretty much full time, right?
Yeah, like I said earlier, I go to 7 drag races this year and 31 NASCAR events. So yeah, pretty much wide open. The luxury for me is if I want to come home on Saturday nights, I can come home. Standing around the garage on Sundays is very, very painful for me, and I can be more productive elsewhere.
Yeah, it's not much going on anymore at the racetrack. It's horrible. I mean, for us, how we used to do it, right? And all the things we used to do leading up to the race. For right now, what do we get there? Yeah. We get there an hour before the garage opens. Right? We do all our prep work that hour, right? On the computers and everything. Get all our changes made. the bell rings, right? It's what, 3 hours before the
3
race?
hours, yes, sir.
In a half hour, we're done. We do all our changes, warm up the engines, and the cars are online. 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
2.5 hours. What can we do? I mean, okay.
It's different.
We prep for the next week. We start working on the next week. We work on our game planning for the race, right? We do all these things, but it's not the same. We're not working on the, I mean, how many Sundays have we swapping engines that morning, doing things, or still fixing our car from happy hour and putting sides on and.
But the new generation, that's normal, right?
Yeah.
And us old guys, right? We're all in our 50s. It's completely different. I saw a guy behind the 22 hauler. He was polishing the wheels.
Slugger.
And I'm like, Jake Elder would never say this, right? Or allow this to happen,
Yeah.
right? For example, it's just like, holy, what are we doing? And it's all about appearance and looking proper, and it's just a different time
world,
in our
man.
lives.
It's crazy.
I did have somebody send a question in to you about the color choice of your wheels. Is that just something that Rick?
Yeah, Rick just loves the gold wheels. It's like it goes with his Evel Knievel type thinking. He owns the rights, some of the rights to the Evel Knievel branding. So he just wants. He's Rick's pretty crafty businessman, man. He's involved in a lot of stuff in the background that allows his cars to get to the track. He's just right now his drag team's pretty good.
Yes, expanding too.
Yeah, expanded to 2 cars towards the end of the year and full time next year, and his motorcycles are doing well. And
so I'm watching the other night. I'm watching something. I was on TV, and I'm like, it's like a flat track motorcycle race, and the guy gets out and he does an interview, and he's got Rick Ware racing on. I'm like, what the hell? Serious is this guy not?
Yeah, no, he's involved in everything, and kudos to him of thinking, having such a big marketing arm, because when he brings companies in, this is what he has to offer, right? Your name just doesn't only go on the Cup car; it gets a chance to go on all these other platforms, these marketing platforms, and he's pretty switched on with that stuff.
Yeah,
he did hire Tommy though, so
well, yeah, he can't, not all of his decisions are good ones.
Yeah.
Did y'all ever figure out any stories you could tell about each other in
No.
public, or I
No.
figured that was probably unheard of for you two idiots?
Yeah, we've had some fun, Slugger and I, and most of it, we've had a lot of fun in the motorhome lot, and just by hanging out, shooting the and drinking, and next thing you know, it would start with usually it would just start with me and him, and next thing you know, you'd Zippy, Bono. Next thing
Your dad.
your
I
dad.
was gonna say, I feel like I've heard
He-
the most from my dad about Slugger, and
Yeah.
I mean Bono too. I remember
Yeah.
a
the
lot.
Red Bull Energy Station about killed
killed all of us.
all of
Yeah.
us. Like that thing was horrendous.
Yeah.
We drugged your dad back one time. We went to the energy station in India. We couldn't find him. Like we looked for hours. So it was late in the night, or in the morning, I should say. And we went back to his motorhome, and your dad was sleeping in the grass.
Yeah.
And we woke him up, and he goes, "Man, what a soft pillow!" And it was just the grass he was sleeping on. But
Yeah.
but it was good.
Yeah, I mean, between the guests we used to have, right? The Long Island gang would come see us, and Knuckles would come. Knuckles Malone would
my
come,
God,
and
Knuckles.
we had our different groups, and all these types of the country parts. Michigan group and the Dover group and the Pocono group, and we had a lot of fun, man.
He would always cook, and I had to do the dishes.
Yeah, that
I
was the
totally
rule.
got screwed all
That
the
was
time.
the rule.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, I cook, he would do the dishes.
Can we talk about you getting locked out the first night of the golf trip this year? Is that
Oh
legal?
Jesus!
I mean,
He got me again.
I
So
know.
I flew in late, and I was rooming with him. And when I got there, I said, "I need your key." So I checked in, got his key, went in the room, put all my in, and come back out. And it's like 1 a.m. He goes, "I'm going to bed." I said, "Well, leave the door open." So I gave him my key. So I don't know. A couple hours later, I finally leave the crowd, and doors closed. I'm like, so I bang on the door, start calling. We had like 20 rooms at this place, and like the last door I knocked on finally let me in. I slept on the couch, but yeah, he totally. His name is Booger, man. He gets you all the time.
He
Did you guys
forgets
know
to
that?
tell. I said, your key is on the table right at the door. So when you go in with my key, grab.
It's always somebody else's fault.
No, it's like we've been doing it for 20 years. It's the same story. All the keys are sitting there. Grab your key. I mean, god damn, I got to babysit for everybody.
I will say though, the first golf tournament I went to, like Tommy invited me to the first
The one
annual
in-
set-
the one in the island, yeah.
And like people had signed up to be with celebrities, right? So I was a celebrity, and the first guy I ever played with was Knuckles Malone, used car salesman from Jackson, Michigan. Great dude.
Oh my God!
And he
Knuckles.
gets up there to swing, and he's cussing, and he's just the way he is, as you guys know. Anyway, he swings and the ball goes dead right. So I walk up to him. I'd never met the guy before. I grab his club. I throw it on top of the roof of the building next door, and I said, "Now get your together." Right? And I talk to Knuckles every week from that time. Like Knuckles is just a good old guy. But I mean, things like that, the mancation, we talk about that. But man, spend time with your buddies, right? I mean, we're all getting older every day, and it's so rewarding. I know it's 3 or 4 days out of your schedule, but man, anybody, if you can spend time with your buddies, you got to do it.
Yeah, we've been doing it for 16, 17 years, almost at the same place in Orlando. And the coolest thing about it is it started with, like with people I've known from high school, college, work, racing, and all these groups have come together, and now everybody is friends, and everybody hangs out, and everybody has a good time. And it's fun to now. All of our kids are starting to go, right? Because the rule is you got to be 21 and over, right? I made that rule.
Thank God.
And it was pretty cool to have Jack there the first time, and him see what we're all about, having some fun. And he ran pretty good with the boys. He was
the only smart one in the whole.
Yeah, well, he ended up
carload.
He got dropped off in the middle of the road. But he was on his way to Miami.
I was gonna say, didn't Jack?
I was.
make it to Miami
I'll
or
be
not?
back this year. So you might want to skip this one. I'll give you fair warning.
I'm going. Like
you ended up
I was at the Chili
hanging out
Bowl.
with one of our.
Yeah, Gabe. I seen Gabe out in Vegas this week. He's living out there. Gabe is something. Gabe
living life.
Gabe is something.
There
man.
is nobody that's more wide open than that guy I've met my entire life. Actually, when he shows up, I run now.
Yeah, well, that's what happened. Doug was with me for a little while on Saturday night, and he's like, I said, "Hey, Gabe texted me. He might come over here in a little bit." And he's like, "I am leaving." He's like, "I gotta get the hell out of here." And I was like, "Come on!" And sure enough, he dipped out. I think he did see Gabe for a minute, but he did not stay long to hang out. So, but yeah, it was good to see Gabe. It's good to see that whole crew. We have a group text that just never ends from that thing.
Painful at times.
Yeah, no. But yeah. Anyway, speaking of Florida, we'll be back there this week. You guys ready? Yeah. Are you just running one car again? When's the 0-1 come back?
Bristol.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
I'll be in the war room on Sunday. Yep.
War room this week?
War room on Sunday, South Boston, Friday and Saturday.
Must be nice. Make your own. I mean, anyway. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. Karsyn.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to go out and start drinking today. Celebrate Christmas.
You already started drinking.
I mean, this isn't really drinking. This is just
warm-ups.
This is
Was it
continues.
appetizer?
This is just a slow start. You coming with me today, or I mean?
Nah, you know what? I think I might. I took the day off for a reason. So.
That's good.
I think it's this show's going pretty well with you. You're gaining some.
we're gonna get you married by the end of the season.
Jesus.
I mean, these calls, these guys.
You're going to need an agent.
I should have never made a mention of that. I should have never made the situation.
I mean, you got some interest brewing here.
Maybe I should put some age restraints and geographical locations on it.
Long distance. We want all long distance calls. We want these other countries. You don't have to really see them. They just send money.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I don't want a situationship. You guys had the wrong S word. I want sugar daddy applications.
You can hook up with this.
I'm not giving any sugar. I just
whatever this
want the
guy's
money.
name, the F1 driver that wrecked, you can hook up with him.
He's probably. I don't know what he looks like, but he's probably good.
Could you
on the
imagine if
sugar
you met
daddy
your
side.
husband on this show? That'd be a story forever.
Probably wouldn't be a super quality human. That's for sure.
What the?
Oh, come on.
Hey,
No, I'm just kidding. I love
look
y'all.
at just text me,
I'm just kidding.
Gabe.
Oh, boy.
Can he hear us?
No.
Is this thing live?
His ears are ringing.
Oh, he just said, "Don't forget to send me the link for the podcast." Now he's gonna hear us talking about
He
it.
just woke up.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it is 3 hours later. He probably just getting
Oh.
home.
Slugger.
Here we go.
Slugger.
I'm sorry.
You see his eyes are
Slugger.
I
twinkling.
mean, he lit up.
We got to tell the story where Gabe sent us that one time.
He don't remember.
Didn't you come with us?
No, I
To
don't.
the resort in Jamaica? Yes,
No,
you did.
no.
You were there.
No, I think I missed it.
I
don't know.
I can't tell.
Tell
if
your
he's-
story.
I can't tell if he's being an or not.
Yes, you
No,
were
go
there.
ahead. Tell
You
your
were
story.
there. So Gabe's in the trading business. We're gonna go trading business.
Bartering.
Is that what you
business.
call it?
Yeah. So he's like, man, I got you guys a good vacation, man. It's all on me, you know. And so
Tommy just realizing we shouldn't tell
You
this
brought
story.
this up.
so we all show up, and it was I don't know how you say it properly. How do you say the word? It was a gay resort. He put us up in a gay resort. And I think it was Slugger, his wife, Beth, and I, a couple other groups. And we walked in and we were like, holy holy.
My wife noticed it first.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Did you guys
got hit.
Did you guys bring your Speedos? Or?
So this is Gabe.
there a
This
lot
is
of-
how
Yeah,
Gabe
this is-
operates.
oh, yeah.
Yeah. So thanks, Gabe. Appreciate it.
He got us.
I had a couple friends of mine that they recently. I won't mention their names just to protect the innocent. But they booked a trip like last minute. We're just going to take a trip to I forget. They were like we're going to go to Mexico or something, and they ended up booking. They booked a resort like just for the weekend. They get there, and my buddy's like, everybody was flirting with my girlfriend heavily. He's like, and I thought it was a little strange, but obviously she's pretty, so I was like, I didn't think it was that big a deal. He said, then I started kind of looking around and I realized, yeah, we're at a swingers resort.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say where there are upside down pineapples
He's
everywhere.
like, people
where
were
y'all
just walking around naked. He goes, I started putting two and two together. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. And then he set us up that one year. We changed venues for our golf trip.
That's true.
Yeah. We ended up in one part of Florida, and then 2 days later we were in
Fort
another part.
Lauderdale.
Yeah, we ended up in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got this great deal. You guys, I got it handled. Don't worry about it. That's why Pumpkin's in charge now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was Woody, but I mean, same thing.
Yeah.
Oh man, good times, good times. All right, well, thank you guys for listening. We will see you. I've seen a bunch of fans out in Vegas this week again. You starting to get any crazy DBC fans in the garage yet?
Yeah, getting some people, a lot of people in the casino.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right, thanks for coming by, Slug. We appreciate
cool.
it, man.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, we're gonna
Hope you find your man.
Thoughts
You
and
never
prayers.
know.
Thoughts and prayers.
Mr. Wright might
The
show
biggest,
up.
the biggest, all the texts I was getting was the shirt. Well, I guess I made some shirt comment on my group text.
Oh no, that was not. You didn't make. She made a shirt comment. You made a different comment that we will not discuss
yeah.
on the podcast.
A lot of people were asking. Well, I said I don't remember.
Somebody in our group text said, "Tommy, what the hell did you say?" I said, it's the golf trip group text, and they're like, "Tommy, what'd you say?" And I'm like, "I'm not writing him out. I'm going to let him just go on, not knowing what he said." So
There'll be a time and a place where it makes perfect sense to bring it back up.
Carson will get you back.
Yeah, I got it in my back pocket.
Nice.
All right, thanks again for listening, and we'll be back after Homestead.
Peace out. We're out.
Good times. Thanks.